just sort of...
When you say race to death, Bradley, just for the people back at home listening to all the experiences, things you've been talking about, exactly how old are you now?
20.
Just 20?
Yeah.
He's 20, been a world champion, medalist in the Olympics, medalist at the Worlds. Amazing, eh?
Don't whatever you do, young man, burn yourself out. Just take it. I mean, look how David Miller's grown in these last 3 years. Confidence, just let him ride a bit, and then what he's done now. I understand you've got quite a head on you. People are saying that you've got a good idea where you're going to.
I'd like to think so, you know. I take the attitude that, you know, the earlier you act professional, you know, the better results you get, and you know, obviously, you know, the results I've had so far has paid off, you know, and you know, it's been great. So,
Russell, yeah. You say you're going to talk to Sean Yates, obviously the Linda McCartney manager, about your race programme. Is there one race you'd really love to ride next year? Obviously, you think about the tour in years to come, maybe 2 or 3 years. But is there one race, maybe a one-day classic, you might say, if McCartney's riding, could I ride that particular race?
Paris-Roubaix, definitely.
Paris-Roubaix.
Yeah, and I mean, within 10 years, I can see myself hopefully, possibly winning that. You know.
That's my favourite race, young man. I'm determined to live as long as that now, so I can be there.
Of course you will. Of course you will.
On the cobbles at the end of it, or so in the track there. I'm glad you named that, because that, I'm going to embarrass you now, of all the races that there are, that to me is the classic race, and it's a real one-off, and the riders that have won it over the years, not being disrespectful to anybody else, they to me are not only a great all-rounder, because look at Fausto Coppi, prosciutto, well prosciutto, Paris-Roubaix, came to that, Tour de France, Tour of Italy. If you can do that and everything else, that to me, as he put his arms around his shoulder, that's great. If you make it in 10 years' time, I'll be the first to get the champagne out.
No, I mean, you have to be a very special rider to win a race like that. You know, I may never win it, but I certainly think I can be placed in it. I know Ekimov, ex-World Pursuit champion, you know, 4th a few years ago. Sean Yates, you know, started as a pursuiter in the early part of his career. Obviously had a 5th place, and you know, Francis Moreau, he was 9th a few years ago. So, you know, there's been, you know, it does tend to suit riders that can ride on the flat and good time trialers. So
look at Ekimov too in Sydney this time in the Olympics, eh?
That's right. Yeah. I mean, who would have thought? You know, last year he could barely get a contract together, and now he's Olympic champion again. So.
Hey, Phil back at home, you're listening to the aims and ambitions of riders, listening to how riders have done things late in life, listening to young men alongside us here. I enjoy cycling, I enjoy riding, but did you actually start, did you like riding a bike, or was it just something I'd be a brain surgeon or a lorry driver, or, you know, whatever the case may be. Did you just like riding a bike?
I always wanted to be a footballer to start with, and, you know, obviously my dad was a professional, and my mum sort of tempted me to go that way a bit, and once I started, you know, I was hooked on it, and I started down at Herne Hill when I was 8 years old with Russell.
Yeah, also, who did you start with?
Russell Williams.
Oh, there you go.
Professional.
Hey, listen, also, a little story. Somebody told me you wanted to be a professional snooker player.
You know, obviously...
When you look at the money, yes.
when you're young, and, you know, I'd like to have possibly had a go at it, but you can't do everything, can you, you know?
Well, I don't know. You're commentating very well. You're top-class bike rider.
When you win the Paris-Roubaix, you can buy yourself your own snooker hall.
That's right, yeah.
So then getting to the next event on that programme, you can see the riders here. Well, the Olympic sprint, the rider for 3rd and 4th coming up on your screen just now. And my goodness, they go around this track in a rather quick rate of knots, and it's one of the most explosive things. They go through pain barrier right to the word go, and the point is now who's going to get the bronze medal, and who's going to have the pain of going back into the cabin and sitting down there and saying we missed it by that much. Russ.
Yeah, we've seen these two teams this morning. The Japanese, their first 250 metres is absolutely fantastic. Their first 250 metres they're doing 17.866. The next 250 metres in 31.414. But then on the last lap, their last man tends to be just a little bit weak. Can they get it right this time?
Good start by both riders at the moment, out of the start gate, the rest dropping in behind them, and as they go around now, the whole objective, one man goes through, one lap swings up, and then his teammate takes over, and off they go, and at the moment they're coming round towards the end of that lap then, and it's Spain struggling, 0.081 down. Japan is the fastest at the moment. Japan could be coming here and getting bronze, and that will be the first ever as far as they're still in the lead then by 0.017, and Spain have got to do something about this one. In fact, they reversed it. Suddenly coming through into that final lap then, Spain have reversed it, and on the line it's just 0.090, 38 seconds on the clock. Can Japan come back at this one? Spain have got it just by .058. My goodness, the Japanese, I think, have just said, hey, we're coming, and I think next time we might find them going even faster. That big Keirin schools that they've got, the training they have, their dedication towards Keirin racing, they seldom come out to ride outside Japan, but now they're getting a bit more dedicated at riding in the European scene, and they, I think, must have frightened the Spanish riders then. What do you think, Russ, about that one?
Well, that was just so exciting. I think you're right. You know, as Bradley said before, that, you know, you start with Japanese riders specifically just to do the sprint or the Keirin because they earn so much money from the Keirin, but they came here tonight and they did a fantastic ride this afternoon.
Well, there's been some disappointment earlier on when Rob didn't go in for the individual pursuit with a chance for the gold or the silver, but now we do have a team coming up onto the track, and you'll probably hear the roar when they come out here. We just watched the Spanish ride into the bronze medal position, but we've got the ride-up coming on now for the gold and silver medal, and it's France versus Great Britain. The France team are the first up onto the track, and we're waiting with bated breath to see what will happen in this next event on our program. In the finish straight, the French team, Laurent, Gane, Florian, Rousseau and Arnaud. And on the far side, waiting to get on their bicycles, the British team, a little bit slower coming to the mark here than the French ride. Is this psychological, Russ?
I was just going to ask Bradley the same thing. Is there a reason why do you think our lads just took their time, just a little bit, to get on the track? Is it to psych out the French?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, the longer you're sitting there on the bike, the longer, you know, you're getting tense, nervous, and perhaps that's just a little edge we've got going into this final over.
And they've got 40 seconds to go, by the way, because the clock counts down when the officials call them to the line, and Britain took a little bit longer to get there, but now they are on the line then. Lead-off man at the bottom, Chris Floyd, then McLean, then Jason Queally. Anxious moments, Russ?
This is where they've got to get it just right. They've been there before and they've just lost out. This is their chance. They're absolutely amazing ride at the Olympics. They know that each rider just does one lap, 250 metres, just on that black.
But what about the French with all the success over the years, eh? Are they going to get it, or will Britain get the gold? There they go, underway now, and this crowd here really urging him on. It's not been in the list until 1996 when we had the Olympic sprint. Australia got that one, and then France was 3 times world champion. Well, they're going to get the 4th, or Great Britain, who was silver last year in Berlin, get this one. They go through, and on that Great Britain trailing by .039 as they change over now, and certainly down into the back straight, half a lap to go. Great Britain still struggling just over the .036, coming back slightly as they hit the line now. Great Britain .104, we're losing out. A big Jason Queally will have to take over. Jason Queally from Preston has got a power around this course, but he's gone to .206. It looks like we might end up with a silver yet again unless he can do something phenomenal here. And he's gone through .342, and it didn't quite happen. So once again then we have the French taking the gold medal. Great Britain, who in Berlin was second, go back in the second slot yet again. But they gave it all. These riders who came here with their tails up to Sydney, but the French just shows the strength and depth that we have with the French team. And Bradley alongside me, you must feel for your teammates, but that also shows the length and depth of talent that the French have got the time they've been bringing on these riders.
Yeah, I mean, a super bunch of lads, you know, they've worked so hard this year. You know, the 3 of them, you couldn't pick 3 nicer guys, you know, and they train so hard, so dedicated to what they do, and, you know, again, second behind France, you know, it's becoming a bit of a habit now, but, you know, they work hard, and, you know, I'm sure next year they'll be back again, and, you know, Olympic silver, world silver now, so I'm sure they're happy, you know.
Right, they've got the silver. Bradley, thanks for coming and joining us at the commentary point here. You've got a good job here when I give up. You and he can run it. Hey, what's this?
I just want to say he did a fantastic job. I don't know why I'm sitting here. And also, you know, we sound alike because we're from London, you see.
And, well then, Russ, I'm going to embarrass Russ. When you found him on the track at Herne Hill, did you think we'd get this lad here alongside us with all the success he's had and the future, which looks good for him too?
As soon as he came along, I knew he was a talent. He was a diamond, and he still is.
Well, the atmosphere in this track has been tremendous again. I keep saying that. I've said it every day so far, but I've been on many World Championships over the years, and certainly the crowd here been enthusiastic, cheering everything that virtually moves on two wheels, even more so if it's a British success. But we have to say that the French, on this particular occasion, who just showed their top quality class. They've done it now in the rides here in the Olympic sprint. So Arnaud, who got beaten out of sight in the Olympics by Britain's Jason Queally, now somewhat getting revenge on it, because that's Queally at the top, just failing to get there for the goal. But certainly France back at the top yet again. Well, Arnaud really become the linchpin of this particular team. A strong kilometre rider too as well. He and Jason Queally are back in of this particular team. A strong kilometre rider too as well. He and Jason Queally have battled it out in the past, and they had it again, but Jason had too much to do at the back end. The team rode magnificently. When you think that the aims and aspirations of the whole country, I suppose, were on them to get a goal this time round, but to respond to the pressure, because there is pressure out there when you come to the line in front of your home crowd, and when you're coming up against the team which have been 3 times world champion at this particular dictate. So well done then to the team from France, Laurent, Gane, Florian, Rousseau and Arnaud. And those names, for the experts who understand cycle racing on the track, will just know that we've got some really great quality riders, Gane, Rousseau and Tournant here. So it's, as far as the Brits are concerned, they've gone down fighting.